What's up guys, welcome to another video. I'm out here on a windy Friday about to send it, but aside from sending it, I thought that I would talk about an interesting topic that I get asked quite a lot. How do you get sponsored? So I'm going to give my thoughts and also maybe give you some tips that you can implement if you're looking to get sponsored as an FPV pilot. Let's get into it. Freestyle can be expensive. FPV drones can be expensive, but especially freestyle, and especially if you're crashing a lot. So maybe this is holding you back from really sending it as hard as you want to. And so maybe that means that you're not quite getting to the level that you want to get to, and you're looking at these other sponsor pilots and you're thinking, well, it's okay for him or her because they're sponsored, they can send it as hard as they want and they don't have to worry about breaking parts because they can get them replaced for free. Well, what if I told you you don't even need to send it that hard to get sponsored? You don't even need to be that great of a pilot. So maybe you're thinking, well, that's only if you've got a lot of followers online. Well, not necessarily the case. Recently, I've seen a lot of pilots who have less than 1,000 followers on Instagram, for example, and they're still getting sponsored. So how are they doing this? Well, I'm going to get into it further, but first, I just want to fly a few packs. Be right back. So my first sponsor was Axis Flying, and how that came about was a friend who owned an FPV shop in Malaysia recommended me as somebody who might be a good fit for somebody to do a review video for their new motors. And they're a new company at the time, so they were looking for reviewers. And at that time, I didn't have a huge following, but I was active online and I was consistently making videos. So they sent me 4 motors in return for a review video. However, it wasn't a sponsorship, so this wasn't a sponsorship yet. But it brings me on to my first point, which is you need to think about a sponsorship like a business deal. Both parties have to benefit. So why would a company sponsor you if they're not going to benefit from it? So the way that I think of it is, put yourself in their shoes. If you're just going to approach them and ask for a sponsorship, what are they going to get out of it? So instead, why not try and make them an offer that they can't refuse? So don't just go to a brand and asking them for free stuff. Instead, you should be offering them free stuff. And, you know, that's a good way to spark up a relationship with a brand. Maybe they'll send you some free products in return for a review or something like that. And then who knows, in future, that might develop into something further, such as a sponsorship. But I'm going to get into it a bit further, but first there's a new trick that I want to try. Well, it's actually not a new trick, it's an old trick, but it's through a new object. I want to try a Barani through one of these pipes. Never tried it before, the pipes are really narrow, but yeah, let's give it a go.
Telemetry lost.
Alright, let's try it. Fail.
Telemetry recovered. Telemetry lost. Telemetry recovered.
Come on, let's get this moving. Try and get... Oh, me. And so with Axis, I did the review video, and then a year later, they agreed to sponsor me because they saw how active I was online, and I was promoting their motors, obviously, and screaming and shouting about them and saying how good they were. So they liked that, and they trusted me, and it turned into a sponsorship. And so what can you take from this story about me with Axis flying? Well, I would say it helps to be as active online as possible. What does this mean? It means posting consistently as possible. Don't stress yourself out. Comment on other people's posts. Follow the brands you like. Comment on their posts as well. So, you know, don't be that guy who posts once every 2 months and then ignores all the comments and then gets frustrated because they're not getting sponsored and they see everyone else's. Another thing I would say as well is if you like the gear of a company and you are using it, this is huge flattery for the company because they see that you really like their products. But they're only going to see it if you tell them about it. So tag them, join their Discord, join their Facebook, join in on discussions, just try and be an active member of the community, and they'll see you in a really favourable light. And I think that all of this together will really help you if you're looking to get sponsored, and just by sparking up relationships with these companies. But there are people who do none of what I've been talking about, and maybe they even have small followings and somehow they still manage to get sponsored. So how the hell do they do it? Well, I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but first I'm going to try and get this Barani through a pipe. Wish me luck.
Telemetry recovered.
That's clean. Into a Barani. Come on. No, I didn't do that, did I? Oh my days. That was insane. That was unbelievable. Well, there's so many pipes, I guess you've got to hit one, haven't you? Oh. Do you like my umbrella? Nice, isn't it? Anyway, so there are some people out there who have small followings and they're not very active and they somehow manage to get sponsorships anyway. How are they doing it? I would say this is most likely a case of just who you know and what not what you know, rather. So there's nothing you can really do about that. Although networking and doing what I was saying previously can possibly help you to get some friends in high places too. Secondly, I would say also don't believe everything that you see online. There are some people who may be screaming and shouting about a sponsorship, but for all you know, it might just be a small discount code. And unless they're revealing all of the details of their sponsorship contract, which they're not allowed to anyway, and they're not likely to, then you don't know what's going on. So just forget about it. And thirdly, I would say there are some companies out there, no names mentioned, MEPs, excuse me, something in my throat, who are willing to hand out sponsorships to anyone and everyone with a pulse, or who's willing to donate their left kidney. So if you see something like that, forget about that too. I would say the best thing to do is concentrate on your own brand and just build your own following, because if you obsess over these things, it's just going to leave you frustrated and demotivated, and working on your own brand and building followers will help you in the future with bartering for sponsorships. So just focus on yourself. Forget about everyone else. Anyway, I'm going to get into some conclusions and also just give you some information on how you can contact some of these companies. But first, I'm going to rip a couple of packs. It's pretty hot out here, even with this umbrella. So in conclusion, if you are looking to get sponsored, then I would just say be active online, network and engage with the communities and the people within them. If you are using the products of the company, that definitely helps a lot. Don't be afraid to tag them, mention them, do all the things. And you've got to think of a sponsorship like a business deal. You know, both parties have to benefit. So don't just think about you and what you're going to get out of it. A sponsorship is not just about getting free stuff and then doing nothing. There are some responsibilities. So, you know, think about that. And so how do you contact these companies? It's easy, you know, they're all on social media, Instagram, Facebook, they have Discords, a lot of them. If you check their websites, they've even got email addresses. So if you are willing to do something like a review video, or if you've got an offer that they can't refuse, you know how to reach them. And you notice how during this video, I haven't really spoken that much about pilot skill. And that's because to a lot of companies, it doesn't really matter how good you are at flying. What's more important is how you're promoting their products and how you're engaging with the communities. There are certain companies out there who do value pilot skill over everything else. And I will say a huge shout out to Supafly on that one, because I can see that that's a huge factor in choosing their sponsor pilots. But yeah, so if you've done everything that I've mentioned in this video and you're still not getting you're still getting rejected by sponsors, don't worry about it. Just keep sending it, work on building your own brand, and maybe in the future, new opportunities will open up to you. So that's pretty much everything I have to say on the subjects of sponsorship. I hope you enjoyed the video. I did get the Barani, not through the same pipe. It was a bit of luck involved in that one, but I'm really happy anyway. Thanks for watching. And one last thing I'll say is, don't forget to have fun, guys. See you in the next one. Lastly, I would just love to add a huge thanks to all of my sponsors that I've listed here who continue to support me and keep me in the air. Honestly, in my opinion, some of the best companies in FPV, and I highly recommend you check them out. Thanks for watching.